Good morning. It is 11:03. Today is September 15th, 2023, and this is Coffee with Community Services, Alta California Regional Center's weekly vendor meeting. My name is John Decker. I am the Director of Community Services at Alta California Regional Center, and I will be introducing some staff, and then we will get into our agenda for today. And if there's some things that you'd like to talk about that we don't have on our agenda, please put it in the chat and we'll do our very best to get to that. And I just saw Mina pop up on my screen. So Mina, I got you on my agenda, and I think I have Mariano on my agenda as well. Okay, they both nodded, so they know. All right, perfect. All right, so let's do some introductions here. So I will start off because she shows up first on my camera with Shauna, and I will ask her manager to introduce her actually.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to introduce Shauna Frost. So she is our new specialist. She will be working with our SLS and day program providers. And Shauna, if you just want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I'm Shauna Frost. I recently was with a vendor as a case manager. Prior to that, I had experience with several other vendors. I do have my bachelor's degree in psychology and working towards my master's in social work. Hopefully soon before the year ends, I start that journey. I've always appreciated the regional center, worked with them in partnership for over a decade now. So it's exciting to be on the team and sort of knowing the back end of everything that the regional center does for all the vendors. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. We were just talking this morning with the executive management team over at DDS about how much we like having community services folks that have worked with service providers before. Gives you a little bit more understanding of how service providers have to run their businesses and some of the challenges that they face. All right, I'm going to go through, let's see, Adriana is here. Good morning from Community Services. Our HCBS specialist, Kylie, who I actually got to meet in person. So good to see Kylie here too. And Client Services Manager Carol is on. Good morning, Carol. And I see Tom from Community Services and Ethan, who I'm told works in Community Services, but I have not yet met yet. So look at that. Ethan as well, who I understand was introduced previously to folks. So at some point, perhaps.
John.
Yes, Helen, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't introduced last time. So
he wasn't? Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
let's go for it.
Ethan is my the newest community services specialist under my unit. And Ethan will be a partner to Beverly Lim for like in-home respite agencies, home health agencies, and behavior services. So I'd like for Ethan to also introduce himself and give us a little bit of your background, Ethan.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. And John, way before I joined Alta California, I was looking on YouTube, right? Things about Alta California. And I saw your very first meeting, like, community. I said, my God, they do that on YouTube? I've never seen that. So I loved it. And one of the reasons why I came here, because I felt and I was informed that people here or the management here is completely different from whatever you came from. And I have that feeling and I feel that right now. I'm very happy to be here. So my name is Ethan. Just before this, I was working with the Veteran Affairs Agency as a VASH housing case manager. And then before that, I worked with North Los Angeles Regional Center. And then before that, for 5 years, South Central Los Angeles Regional Center. I have a master's in business and organizational leadership. And I'm here to really learn whatever I can learn as fast as I can and start helping everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome, Ethan. Norma, good morning, Norma, too, from Community Services. Norma does our health and safety waivers. I had the pleasure of reviewing an amazing message that Norma sent out to one of our providers. It was so well written. I had to send the message over to Jordan, just saying, oh my God, look at how well Norma laid this all out. So always appreciate Norma as our health and safety waiver specialist. We have our Director of Client Services, Michelle Johnson, on this morning. And we have our employment specialist, Carly, this morning, and we've got HCBS specialist Alicia on. And from community services, I see Beverly and Gary and Leah. And our community services manager, Michelle, is on. Good morning, Michelle. And our specialized services and supports manager, Jordan, is on. Good morning, Jordan. And our housing specialist, Rhonda, is on. And I see our lead community services specialist, Jason, this morning. And you heard from Helen already. Good morning, Helen. Up from our beautiful Grass Valley area, Heidi, as always. Good morning, Heidi, too. And our other director of client services, Jennifer, is on. Good morning. I see client services manager, Kenesha, on. Good morning, too. And let's see, we have from community services, Sydney, Elijah. Let's see, who else there? We have Catherine Weston is on, and Cindy Lay, client services managers. Good morning. And Shamir, good morning. Our culture diversity specialist, good morning. My assistant, Zach, is on. That's the top of his head there. Perfect. All right. Never knows when I'm going to call him out. And Wyatt is on this morning. Good morning, Wyatt. Client services managers. Rowena's on from client services too. I see our associate client services director, Tracy's on. Our intake and clinical director, Camelia, is on. Good morning. And Christy from community services, working so hard on our social recreation programs that she had no idea she was going to be doing when she got hired, but she has certainly embraced it. And maybe we can start our agenda that way with Mina. That way Mina doesn't have to hang out with us the whole time if she doesn't want to. So shall I have you introduce Mina?
Sure. Thank you.
Or Christy,
Thank you,
or,
John.
well, go right ahead, Mina.
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
I'm going to put a spotlight on you too.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, Christy. Thank you, Helen. And thank you, John, for giving me this opportunity today to share. And I hope, I think vEmbrace is little visible for the ACRC. And we thank ACRC and DDS for the grant that we got this year. And the upcoming event is one of the things that is happening because of this grant. And it's on September the 23rd, which we call it as Inclusive Dance-a-thon. We encourage all families, all Alta clients to be there. It's free for them. And anyone who is accompanying them, they just need to pay the general admission fee. If you guys can give me a list of your clients that would be coming, I will have them attend for free at the event. And it's the way it goes is like, they dance for 3 hours continuous. It's not mandatory that they need to be dancing for 3 hours, but it's all fun. They can take breaks in between and something like a marathon, like walkathon, that kind of stuff. And they learn a choreographed dance, which will be on stage. We also have like individuals with disabilities going to go on stage. And so it's a fun event, and ACRC has kindly agreed to be there. Alta agreed to be there as a vendor and just witness the event. And I think I covered everything, Christy. And once again, thank you, Christy, for allowing me to come today.
Okay, so how are we going to be connecting people to Mina for this? I have the email that was sent out to us that has the weembrace.org with the dance-a-thon / Should I put that in the chat right now for everyone so that they can copy that on their computers?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Mina, do you want me to put your email? I mean, I will just say,
yes,
Mina, thank you very much for all that you do. Not everyone is aware of all the activities that go on. And so I really appreciate it. There's a lot more than just the grant funded activities through the social recreation grant. And this is not new either. They've been, providing these awesome opportunities for years now at this point. And so I know we connected during COVID with the vaccines, and you
That's
running
right.
the vaccine clinics that you did too. So
That is right.
I really appreciate it that you've made this such a big part of your life. You always keep us really well updated, and I'm going to drop your direct email in there if anyone
Yes,
just wants
please.
to connect with her.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope I'm not overwhelming the Alta coordinators and staff with all my emails and with all our activities. I hope I'm not overwhelming you guys.
No. You are not overwhelming us at all. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And we'll do our very best to get those 75 slots filled.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you so much, Mina.
All right. Let me roll through the rest of our agenda items that we have on today. We are going to have a discussion about the DSP stipend. There's 81 of you on, so we did have a huge provider advisory committee meeting yesterday. I think there was like 55 people on, certainly vendors that I have never seen before, which is awesome. We are going to do a recap of the discussion that we had yesterday at the provider advisory committee about the new DSP stipends. There was an additional DDS webinar yesterday afternoon where we learned a little bit more after that presentation. And so Michelle's going to get into that. I'm going to ask Carly to mention about the Sierra College Job Fair. I'm going to ask Jordan to talk about the CRDP survey. I'm going to ask Helen to give an update on the transportation activities, and I might chime in a little bit on that one as well. I want to start off, I think before we do anything else, and talk about the fact that this is our DSP recognition week. And so I think that is I just realized I still have you pinned there. Mina, there we go. But for DSP recognition week, I hope folks are seeing the social media posts from Alta California Regional Center that have been coming out. I really appreciate all of these submissions that have been coming in. I don't know the
Did he freeze?
I think that John froze.
Yeah, John.
All right, I just wasn't sure if it was just me again, but okay.
He's gone. He's gone.
While we're waiting for him, I know that I was next on the agenda, so hopefully I can share and we can just go over the stipend while we're waiting for him to reset that. Hold on, let me see. And of course, I'm not able to share. Let me see if anyone else.
If I could interject just quickly, we do have one more person from Social Rec that's here, and his name is Sean, and he's from HIPU. So Sean, if you're available, if you'd be able to
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Christy.
Talk a little bit about your program and some of the things that you all have been doing for social recreation, the after school programs.
Yes, so hi. Excuse me. Hi everyone. My name's Sean. I'm the director for Hmong Youth and Parents United. The social rec programming we have is a youth circle programming. We're looking up to serve up to 20 youth. Last quarter, or during the summer, we had a social rec program and we had about 10 students. I think this quarter we have around 12. We're trying to get up to 20 students for our social rec. We want to focus for our social rec program. Our organization, we're really strong in serving youth. And so just to share about HIPU, Hmong Youth and Parents United is a nonprofit in Sacramento, California. We're based in North Sacramento and Del Paso Heights, Old North Sac, and the Norato neighborhoods. And so our services does serve all of Sacramento County, but our geographic location is mostly in North Sacramento. And we do a lot of youth services. So we've been doing youth circles for 5 years now, since 2019. And so our social rec youth circle, we want to gears it towards serving kids, and it helps with our disparity prevention program as well, because we want to gear towards open to all of the community so that we can get kids to come to our social rec program and definitely spread awareness, as well as just get the community to come for youth circles so we can build camaraderie, talk about, give youth voices, youth empowerment, and that as well. And I think that's it for our youth circle. Our youth circle will run until the end of December. And so we're still looking for more clients. And if anybody wants to recommend, they have youth in the Sacramento County that's in middle school, then we definitely, we're open to accepting more as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. If you could please put your web address into the chat, that'd be so helpful. I'm having some technical difficulties today, so I'm having a hard time navigating around, but thank you so much for coming today and sharing about your programs and you know, and the success of the after-school programs due to the social recreational grant. Thank you so much.
Yes, my pleasure to be here.
Jordan, I wanted to share my screen, but I don't have the capability. It looks like John's trying to get back on. Did you want to give an update since you don't have to share anything?
Yeah, I'm happy to give the update for our Community Resource Development Plan survey. So I know last Friday I let folks know that it is that time of year, right? Starting almost into fall, right? About another fall. And it's time for us to reach out to all of our stakeholders, right? Our clients, our families, our vendors, all the individuals that we partner with at schools or, you know, hospitals, what have you, for our survey results to really hear from the community about the resource development needs they see for our clients or their loved ones, right, that might be receiving regional center services. So what I want to do really quick is post this here, indicating where you guys can find this, but I'm going to share my page. So the survey went out on MailChimp yesterday. Herman's team got that all sent out. So for people who are signed up for Alta email notifications, you should have received that survey in your email box yesterday. And then for individuals who might not be, that link will take you to our website, which I'm going to share now. Oh, the host disabled participant sharing. Who is currently the host? Let me look at the.
It looks like Alta Regional's the host, and I'm not sure who email that is.
Who logged in first from Alta? Let's see if I can see anything on the participants. But nonetheless, if you hit that link right there, you will find our survey. And so this year we did do open-ended questions. We want to hear from folks about areas in which they think we need new development, right? Areas in which they think we need additional development. And then also looking at specifically, right? We ask questions like, you know, where you're located, counties that you're from, right? And really looking at if there's also generic resources that clients or families may have attempted to access, but there was barriers in accessing those generic resources, giving us some information on that. So there's just 4 simple questions. We will keep the survey open until September 29th. The website doesn't currently say that. I'm going to see if our team can get that updated. So that's when it will close. That will then give us about 2 weeks to analyze all of that data and really come up with the summary of stakeholder priorities, right? And then we will be sharing that information with the public. That link will also take you to the public meeting notice that on October 17th, we will be hosting the public meeting via Zoom to share with our stakeholders all of the priorities that we received and the survey results. So it's always an exciting time for my unit, my community resource you know, my developers who focus on that, Christy being one of them, right? So at this time, if I can, I apologize, I can't share. I think
John logged back on.
And okay. He you a co-host.
There he is.
Yeah, oh, okay, perfect. So I can share now. Okay. So let me show you guys the survey. I know I summarized it for you verbally there, but you'll see here the first question, right? They kind of ask where, you know, who the respondent is. We ask you for your county, your contact information. And mostly that is so that we know that we're not double counting respondents, right? We have to kind of know who it is so we're not double counting those. First question, like I indicated, is what are just undermet needs, things that you think that we do not currently have enough services of, whether that's day program, housing, respite, maybe a respite that can handle behavioral clients as well, right? Looking at some of those things. And then the second question, like I mentioned, was regarding the generic resource. If there's ever been a generic resource that folks have had barriers accessing so that we can look into potentially developing in those areas or collaborating with those generic resources. And then the types of things that you think we could expand upon, right? I know I was just talking with a family yesterday, was hoping that we could have specialized housing in the YOLO area, like an EBSH or a CCH. So those are the types of things that if you think we need to expand some of the access that we'd want to hear about. And then the last question is, how could existing services or program be modified or changed to address those undermet needs, right? So we really kind of wanted to leave those open-ended for you guys. We did do open-ended questions last year as well. And then I'm going to toggle over to the website, right? This is the link that I had put into the chat. This will give you the information for the public meeting that I discussed that we'll be having. There is information in Spanish and in English for that. And here is the Zoom link for that information. So I'll be talking about it every Friday until the 29th. A couple more Fridays I'll talk about it, just to remind folks that we would love for people to complete the survey. I know last year yesterday we were talking about this at the PAC committee, and last year we got 109 surveys. So the year before that it was about around 60. So if we could get double of 109, that'd be great too. We always want to hear from our community. Thank you, John.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Let's see. What did we get over? What did I miss? Did we get to Mariana yet?
I think, are we at Michelle? We had to skip the DSP stipend stuff, right, Michelle?
Yeah, I didn't get to that because I couldn't share this.
I think I made you a co-host, so you can get to that next.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, are you guys all seeing that?
We are.
Okay. So on September 12th, we received a directive from the Department for the Workforce Development and Training, so our DSP stipend program. So I'll review a little bit of this and just give you some updates. So this program was established for the DSP training stipend with the intent to enhance the quality of services received by consumers, improve DSP retention, and increase interest among DSPs in skill development and continuous learning opportunities. So through this program, DSP can receive up to 2 $625 stipends for completing approved trainings. And all trainings that are completed all trainings have to be completed before June 30th of 2024 to qualify for this stipend. So on the directive, which I will share, it lets you know the eligibility requirements. So the eligibility, the individual must work as a paid DSP on average of 10 hours or more per week, perform direct support tasks like skills development, guidance, and personal assistance to individuals served by the regional center as a regular part of their job duties, spend at least 50% of work hours doing direct support tasks, and are employed by the regional center vendor or a participant in the self-determination program. The following are not eligible, so it breaks that down for the stipend. So staff paid through a funding source other than the regional center, such as Medi-Cal, health insurance, or school district. Those who provide intermittent services, such as home modifications or meal delivery plans, and staff hired through temporary personnel agencies, contract or 1099 workers, on-call or PRN workers, volunteers, and administrative or supervisory staff that work less than 50% of their time with direct support. So the way that our DSPs will get these stipends, the first step is to go on to the ARCA Learning Center, which is linked here, and I'll share that. The DSPs are required to register with ARCA Learn before taking the course, and that will include, they will need to reach out to you as their employer, the vendor, they'll need the vendor number and the regional center. So they'll be requesting that information from you. The first training that is required for the DSP stipend is the Code of Ethics training. And after that training, that would be the first one, and that's created by the National Alliance of Direct Support Professionals. The DSP can then receive a second stipend after completing that additional, there's a list of approved training. So they can select I believe there's 2 other ones that they can select. And I will break that down. So once the trainings are done, so all of these, there's additional trainings if they're only allowed 2 stipend payments of $625, but they can continue to take other trainings towards their continued education units, so their CEU requirements through CommuniCare licensing. I'll also attach, there is an enclosed fact sheet and a frequently asked questions and the training stipend, which I will talk to you about. But the frequently asked questions, I had a meeting with DDS yesterday. These are some general questions that were brought up, but they are continuing to add to these as more questions come about, and that more up-to-date frequently asked questions will be on their website. So as far as the billing process, every Monday we will receive what they call a DSP completion report. that will be generated from that learning management system. And what we will do is we'll receive that Monday and we will reach out to you, the vendor, to just confirm that, yes, this is one of your DSPs, one of your staff, and yes, they did complete the training. So once we get that confirmation, the regional center will have 30 days to submit that payment to you once we receive the clock starts at the confirmation email. Anyone that's taking part in this, we will issuing a subcode of $T$. So that will be on there for you to utilize. The total is $775 for each training course. That breaks down to $625 gross payment to be paid directly to the DSP and $150 administrative fee for the vendor. So we have established, and I'll put it in there as well, we have established an email inbox for any DSP or any of the vendors to submit any inquiries, kind of see where the status is, any questions you may have. And that is dspstipend@altaregional.org. Jordan, would you mind typing that in for me? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And then, so one thing I forgot to mention, so once we get the breakdown of the report, and we do reach out and get that confirmation from you that that the DSPs that you have employed have in fact completed that, we will, I hope you guys can see the agreement. John, are you seeing that?
Yep.
Okay. So once you confirm, this is just our training stipend agreement that you will have to complete. You will only have to complete this one time. So once we have the first DSP completed, and say you have another 20 other DSPs, we will only complete this one time. And this is just saying that you agree that you will pay your DSP $625, your direct support professional, and then the $150 will go. So we will keep track. I've worked with accounting, so we will monitor this as we go. And then again, here is the fact sheet. So I will share this with you, just breaking down pretty much everything that I explained to you, and then some links for additional information, and then our frequently asked questions. And that's, is there anything else I missed, John?
No, that covers it pretty well. I do have some information from ARCA where they kind of have all of this stuff in one place. And so I'll kind of share that too with people. All right, questions that folks have about this. Again, I think what we said at the Provider Advisory Committee was, we know that questions are going to come up. Please send them in, as Michelle said, into that DSP stipend email address. I think Jordan put it in the chat. So just want to encourage folks as this rolls out to let us know. There's going to certainly be opportunities for us to continue to discuss this with the department and get clarification. So
John,
quite a while coming.
Yes, hi John. So people who are not DSP at this point, they cannot enroll in the program. So
Michelle, you have to be a current employee for doing the DSP.
Oh, okay.
Correct. Yes. Yes. You have to be employed by one of our Alta Regional vendors as a DSP.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, if we have 15 DSP staff, can all of them take the trainings? I believe so.
Yes. Yeah, there's not a current limit on the DSPs that can attend. Each DSP will only be paid the stipend twice.
It's so funny because usually it would say you only pay it once, but you only get paid twice. But it's awesome, right? Because it's ×2. So awesome. Okay, very good. Thank you. Michelle has very quickly had to become our expert on this because when the directive comes out, we have the discussion of get it in front of your Provider Advisory Committee as quickly as possible. So I appreciate Michelle working it out with our accounting department to kind of get some direction in time for us to discuss it at yesterday's Provider Advisory Committee, and now we can share it even more widely with this group. And we'll have to figure out how these recordings come out with me getting kicked out of the meeting for a few minutes. We'll figure that out. That is a reminder that these meetings are recorded. I know that many of you know that because if they don't get posted by a certain time period, I get emails from folks. I will say, worked it out where these are supposed to be posted within a week now after the meeting occurs. There are certain weeks where we don't have a meeting. And also it has come up a couple times this week about doing an agenda in advance for this meeting. There are certainly some times where we want to pick certain topics and go over those, and then we will put out, you know, an email blast to folks before that. Oh, it looks like there's a comment in the chat there.
That was me, John. That was just linking the directive.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Are recorded available to our clients? Yeah, they are available to everyone. So they're on Alta Regional's website, and I will go to altaregional.org. I will navigate there on my computer and share my screen with you all so you can see where we put these. So I will, as usual, type into the search box coffee, and we'll see what pops up. Coffee with Community Services. And so this is where you can find your link, and this is where all of the videos, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because we do this every week. And so that is where folks can find those if they are looking for them, and they are available for anyone if they want to watch them. We don't really advertise the Coffee with Community Services meetings super broadly because we really want to provide an opportunity for service providers to get that direct connection with the community services department, because it hasn't always been that way to have that type of access. And then we have so many folks from case management as well that are here to both, you know, get updates on things that are going on, because the information comes out so fast now. It used to be, you know, we would find out things, we'd have some time to roll it out, but now the information comes out to our community and to our service providers and to us all at the same time. And so that's why, you know, we continue to do these meetings, because, you know, we can't have weeks going by where, you know, service providers are wondering how we're going to be figuring out the DSP stipend program, for example, when they know that the directive, you know, has already gone out to the regional centers. So anyways, with that being said, we're going to continue to post those on our YouTube page as well, and certainly looking forward to getting another deaf and hard of hearing specialist on as well, so that they can continue to grace our presence every week and give us some lessons and talk about things that otherwise we absolutely are not talking about. And so looking forward to that. I know Michelle is doing interviews right now for folks for that deaf and hard of hearing specialist position. All right, I want to, let's see, Carly, did we get a chance to talk about Sierra College one more time? All right, let me throw it over to Carly then real quick.
Hey everyone, so we are having another Disability Industry Career Expo job fair, DICE, event on November 7th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Sierra College. A flyer is being drafted. I believe we're working with Robin Swanson again on getting that drafted. We will have a sign-up survey this time. You just click the link that's on the flyer to go sign up. This will be in collaboration with Sierra College. It will be in the middle of the week, middle of the school day. So there will be a lot of college students coming by, and we're expecting a high turnout. We're going to do another large publicity blast to get as many people there as we can. It is not limited to the college students, of course. Everyone else is in the community is welcome to attend as well. We heard everyone's feedback that they wanted these events in other areas outside of Sacramento County. So this one will be up in Placer County, and we are looking at doing others in other areas in the future as well. So as soon as we get that flyer completed, it will be sent out to the vendor community.
Yeah, I think I saw the sign-up survey already. So
the sign-up survey has been completed, and we're just waiting for it to be added to the flyer once that is completed.
All right. Let's see here. It's Helen, as to transportation, you want to give a little update on where we're at?
Yes, thank you, John. Today actually is a training day for service coordinators by R&D. I think it happened this morning. Today, also 9:15 is the last day that we will receive TSRs from case management. After today, all of the TSRs we're preparing the TSRs to transition over to R&D, but R&D will take over on October 1st. And then on September 26th, we have a training that we scheduled for providers from 12 to 1. Unfortunately, we have to keep the training to the providers who have signed the contract and provided information to R&D. So if there are any transportation providers here, I would encourage you guys to please the addendum contract and then the information that's needed by R&D. We need those. So those are the bigger updates, John.
Thank you. I know we have received some additional contract language to review at the regional center as well from a number of providers, transportation providers. And so that is ongoing right now, looking at the extent to which we can move forward possibly with some of the revisions. And so we're going to be looking forward to having some further discussions about that next week. Just want to make sure that everyone feels very much on the same page about what the expectations are. And so that is certainly the plan. All right, and I met with Iqbal this morning about that to look at times that he would be available for next week on that. So we'll get in touch with Marty and Damien as well, so that they're in the loop, because I know they're doing a lot of the work specifically about that. In the meantime, though, you know, we certainly have a number of folks that have done the addendum already, provided the information already to our transportation broker, and so it'll certainly make it easier come October 1st, so that we continue to have you know, people that we can do referrals to immediately for new clients, because we certainly always have new clients that are joining us. And again, I did mention the honoring the DSPs. I wanted to share my screen real quickly with information from the Association of Regional Center Agencies. And just again, part of this meeting is making sure that folks can be as informed as possible about the resources that are out there. And so this is the Association of Regional Center Agencies, and this is their Capital Currents newsletter. And with that, one of the first things that they have in here is Governor Newsom's statement honoring Direct Support Professionals Recognition Week. But then there's also some of the stuff specifically in here that Michelle was discussing as well, related to the overview of the DSP stipend program, the FAQ sheet that the department has already put together related to it, the DDS letter to the regional centers, and then the forms that need to be filled out. So just wanted to put that information out there. Additionally, there is information about some classes on future planning, but this gives you kind of a flavor of what the mailing list looks like from ARCA, and the type of information, both federal news and statewide news, and things for our local service system that ARCA puts out. So I'm just going to drop this link into the chat right now, so that you can look at that at your leisure. So I'm gonna drop that in there. Hopefully folks can open that and be able to get into this. And if you want to sign up, you can subscribe right there. It was, you know, keep yourself as informed as possible about things. One of the things that they also put on their website is their views on legislation. And so if you go to ARCA's website, you can see their responses to different legislation. And I think they even have their AB 1147 information on here as well. So if you want the Association of Regional Center Agencies information, again, just another resource for you to take a look at. It's all available online, and I have dropped it in the chat for you as well. I did want to mention something, because for the longest time, the Department of Developmental Services, and let's see, Michelle, are you seeing the Department of Developmental Services website? Michelle Duchesne? All right. So for the longest time, they had their activity calendar on the front page, and it seems like the calendar has just gone away. And I don't know why that is, but it does not seem like you can access the calendar at DDS's website. So I know there are a lot of meetings going on now. I know that they are still doing, you know, work groups and things. They just had the employment work group. But for those of you, because I know we've shared this calendar like many times from our regional center, I just wanted to share that it also appears to us like the calendar of events that were upcoming have disappeared from DDS's website. And again, I know there's a lot of things that are being operationalized right now, but that was one of the things that we noticed was that that is not something that is showing anymore. We, of course, have our calendar on our website, and certainly want to encourage folks to participate in that as much as possible. We did have a vendor forum this week, which was great. Helen, what vendor forum did we do this week?
We had the early intervention vendor forum, and we had I'm happy to report that for the first time we had over 40 participants, which is kind of new, so that was great. Yeah. And and Jennifer Bloom actually gave some updates, good updates about the American Rescue Plan Act grant that we had. And I think Jennifer is here, John, too.
Poor Jennifer. I make her report on this in every meeting that she's in. But we don't always have great news. We don't always have we don't always have outcomes of things that seem to be working out to present to people. So that's why I was so excited when she presented it at the EI meeting. So I don't know if Jennifer's around and interested in sharing any of that. I think she might.
Of course.
Oh, there she is.
I'm always on my toes with you, John. I'm ready.
Hey, we got to keep. That's why we don't do agendas to these meetings. We just present it as we go along.
Exactly. So forgive me for looking over at my other screen, but this is where I have my data. So just a quick summary. We have our ACRC's Early Start program has been involved in an American Rescue Plan Act pilot project. The title of the project is Cultural and Linguistic Sensitive Services, Enhancing Services to the Children and Families of Early Start and Increasing the Capacity of our Early Start vendors. So one of the areas where I think is we've seen a lot of positivity is in the area of the enhanced services that we're able to provide to the children and families of Early Start. And what we're doing is we're offering stipends to our vendor providers to provide services in certain categories to our families, all in person. So I'll go through the categories, give a quick summary. Let's see. So one of the categories is services to families living in remote areas. We have served 325 families in remote areas. We have served 941 families in underserved areas. Underserved areas are areas that were traditionally not being picked up by our vendors as readily as others. And so, certainly all families and children need access to quality Early Start services. We have served families during non-working hours. That's a big need for our community. Not every family is available during the day, during regular business hours to engage in therapy services with their children. So we've served 575 families during non-working hours. 57 of those have been on holidays. 394 have been in evenings or early mornings, and 121 of those have been on weekends. We've also served 283 families in languages other than English. So we're really proud of that progress. It's moving along nicely. We have also had 4 of our vendor providers to hire therapists who speak languages other than English. We have 13 interns in the program. And we've brought on 1 new behavior service vendor in Early Start. So that's a general overview. I don't want to take up too much time, but thanks for the moment, because you're right, good things are happening.
It is absolutely fantastic. And yes, and as mentioned as well, we also had EI providers at the Provider Advisory Committee meeting yesterday, which, maybe if you would have gone to one 10, 12 years ago, we might have had a few, but we really don't have any anymore. And so it was fantastic to have them as part of the Provider Advisory Committee. I really hope that we get some EI vendors that will join the Provider Advisory Committee. Helen and Jennifer, there's been a lot of work that has gone on to try to support the EI vendors. Adriana's been right there with a lot of that work that has had to happen. We've been happy to have a approved AB 637 waiver, and the report that we heard from the providers was very positive, with the ability to be able to pay a higher amount now with the approved AB 637. So again, I just really commend you guys for doing this. You know, there's been a big push to increase the numbers of folks that are coming through EI, but we can't do anything without the service providers to actually provide the direct services to clients. We do not provide direct services. And so it is just absolutely vital. And Jennifer, moving into her new role as Director of Client Services, has really taken on this very important function, you know, to support our community services department. And so I really appreciated Jennifer, because it has been a lot of organization and a lot of work for the grant with DDS too. You know, the meetings with them, the reporting, everything. So awesome. Thank you for that report. I think you're probably going to have to talk about it again at the board retreat at the end of the month as well.
I hope so. Thank you. Thanks for all your support too. We're a great team.
Yeah, again, it's just, you know, we heard the service providers loud and clear, and I'm glad we actually were able to get, you know, a couple big interventions, the health and safety waivers, and then also this big grant project to really help meet folks' needs. So awesome job. All right. Carly, I guess we could just briefly mention the department has a very big interest in the transition from subminimum wage, right? We had a meeting this morning with the Chief Deputy Director of DDS and the Deputy Director that oversees the community services side of things and the Chief of the Work Services group. And so, Carly, where are we at as far as an agency in our subminimum wage? Who's still getting it? And, you know, are we transitioning out?
Yeah, we have really comparatively very few clients who are still receiving subminimum wage compared to how many clients we have in employment. So right now we are I'm working very closely with the vendors who are still paying subminimum wage on their plans to transition out. But the department is also very interested in not only are they transitioning out, but where they're going, what they're doing. How is the transition impacting the work? Are the hours getting cut because you've transitioned to minimum wage? So I'm going to be working very closely with all of our vendors, or at least not all, the vendors that this applies to, on doing all of this. The department is requesting tracking by the 15th of each month. I know I've already emailed those of you that I need this information from to request that your side of the tracking gets to me by the 10th of each month so that I have time to gather all of that from you and get my part of it done. So really we're just, we need to be on top of getting all that data and ensuring that our clients are we have plans in place that are person-centered, and we are working very closely, continuing our partnership to make sure that this goes as smoothly as it can for the sake of our clients.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I think, you know, we are certainly interested in creative ideas as it relates to, you know, opportunities for employment for our clients. And we know that this transition has been going on for the better part of a decade or more, but, you know, we've just got a few left, and, you know, hate to see the gap though that occurs, you know, where we have hours that just are spent doing nothing now because we don't have that previous subminimum wage opportunity. So I think it's really making sure that we've got meaningful client, you know, interested, you know, activities to do.
I do want to reiterate, because this has been confusion among a lot of our providers, as well as a lot of case management, that this ending of subminimum wage does not mean the ending of the work activity programs. The work activity programs do not have to go away. There is no one issuing that they go away. That has been an assumption that has been floating around for a while, and just a lot of confusion. So I just want to reiterate that they are not going away. They are just, if a provider chooses to keep their work activity open, they will have to be minimum wage by January 2025.
Any questions about subminimum wage for Carly? All right. when I say this, and I talked about this morning with DDS too, and when Garrett and Royisha did the presentation a couple weeks ago out in Davis with me and talking to the family members of Team Davis, it's services for individuals with no intellectual disability that are regional center clients. And what do we have for them? What do we have for those individuals that, have an autism diagnosis, but, an IQ higher than mine? What do we have for those individuals? And talking to those parents, it's a challenge. Like, they are struggling with housing, they're struggling with employment opportunities and everything else. So I think that is going to be a growing, because we've had a growing number of individuals that have been made eligible kind of under those circumstances over the last decade or so. So that's just certainly interested in service options for those individuals as well. Be thinking of, hopefully our entire client population about new types of services. But I think the huge rise of autism diagnosis, we're going to have a lot of individuals as well that are not going to have that co-occurring intellectual disability diagnosis. And so different types of needs for different, individual folks. I want to jump over real quickly to, I think in the chat, or if it was a message I got about the holiday schedule being on Alta's website, and 'tis the season for the holiday schedule questions. We know that the uniform holiday schedule is gone, right? That was done away with. However, on Alta's website, we still have this awesome holiday schedule that has last year's information on it. And so I just want to let folks know that I have reached out to the folks that do our website and have asked them to update that page for us. And so hopefully we will have an update on there. Is there any other questions about the website? The plan would be to post it where it is there under a holiday schedule when we get it updated. And I think that's all we have in the chat. And let's see. Any other announcements that we have? I will ask Jennifer and Michelle. I know we mentioned briefly, we coordinated future planning. I know that's been a large topic of discussion with our regional center over the last couple of years, with a big initiative for us. We have met with our task force. We've had some internal meetings. And one of the things that we're really looking at doing is ensuring that, with all of the turnover of staff that we've had, that folks are really getting the training to do the coordinated future planning, and that also we're getting really good documentation of the activities that have occurred, because just kind of like the numbers that Jennifer was able to give off with the EI, grant activities, the ARPA funds, it's nice to be able to talk numbers and talk about, some of the changes that we've seen. So Michelle, I don't know if there's anything else additional in relation to that, but I think we want service providers to be prepared that these discussions are going to be going on during planning team meetings about caregiver succession and about, all the different range of living options, and also to empower providers to have those discussions if you don't hear it coming up from the service coordinator. Oh, and we need Mariano too. Bam. So Michelle, I'll throw it to you and then we'll throw it to Mariano.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. So as John shared, related to coordinated future planning, shared some correspondence or communication with our client service managers this week as we kind of refocus on coordinated future planning. We've had over the last year just so many priorities and projects, and we had the resumption of day program, in-person day program, so just a lot of things to take our focus off of CFP. And so we are bringing everybody back together and focusing on that, and making sure that our new staff, our new service coordinators, have the opportunity to get educated in coordinated future plan, like what it is and why we're doing this project or this initiative. And so the communication that was shared earlier this week, we're going to focus on reviewing procedure and for the new service coordinators, the service coordinators that have had the training, the encouragement is for them to resume having those conversations at the planning team. And I just want to give a shout out, because the conversations haven't stopped completely. There were some units out there that actually completed their coordinated future planning workbook, meaning the clients that lived at home with caregivers, age 52 or over, they did the work and they entered the information on the spreadsheet. And so kudos to those units. There are about 4 or 5 of them that completed it. But again, we're refocusing, and we should be ready to go by November, and be ready to present some information to our Coordinated Future Planning Task Force at their November meeting. Thanks for the space, John.
No problem. And Mariana, I apologize. Between me getting kicked out of the meeting and restarting, I saw you in the top position there. I thought you had a chance. I'm going to throw it over to you.
No worries at all. No worries. Thank you, John, and happy Friday, everyone, and thank you for this time. My name is Mariano Rosales. I am the program manager here at California Resource Services for Independent Living. We are one of ALTA's new service providers. We've been in business since 1979 in Southern California, but we recently expanded up to Sacramento in June. And our programs that we currently have vendorized through ALTA include our EDGE program, which is our college transition program. And through that program, we provide services both in the classroom and outside the classroom for ALTA consumers. So in the classroom, assisting with making sure accommodations are being provided by the school, assisting with note-taking, things like that. And then outside the classroom, we assist the consumer with taking advantage of all the resources on campus to ensure their success as a college student. And the ultimate goal of that program, like I said, is to help with the college transition and help the student become as independent as possible. So our services and our staffing kind of fade and they can take over their own college experience. We also have our Taylor Day and Employment Services program, which is our programs that provide job readiness training. We assist and provide trainings on things such as workplace etiquette, workplace safety. We assist consumers with interview prep, resume prep. We assist them with submitting job applications, calling and scheduling interviews, also taking them to the interview and sitting in on the interview as an advocate if possible. And then also through that program, we have our paid internship program, which is also vendorized through ALTA. And as a former coordinator of our employment services program in Southern California, I'm a big proponent and believer in our paid internship program, which is where we can provide our consumers with work experience that maybe they never experienced before, that we can provide them in our program. So those are our Taylor Day and Employment Services. And our newest program is our Coordinated Family Support Program. This program is a program where we work with and serve not only the consumer, but also their family. And we serve as the bridge to the consumer and family to generic resources and other needs that the consumer and family need to make sure and ensure that the consumer's long-term independence is being prepared and planning for their long-term future, because unfortunately, supporting parents aren't going to be around forever. So that's where we can step in and be that program that assists the family and the consumer with that process. But yeah, that's a little summary of our different programs.
Hey, I know the Southern California one has the website. You guys don't have your website up yet for Northern California, do you?
We do, and I will also share our website. I'm going to share my contact information, and I will also share our CRS website. Thank you for bringing that up, John, because if there is any confusion, you might come across Southern California Resource Services. Same company, we're just going through a name transition now that we're in Sacramento. So let me leave that in the chat. Oh, sorry about that.
All right, I just want to share my screen real quickly. I want to show folks off your website, okay?
Yes, absolutely. And then just lastly, I just wanted to mention that we are actively accepting referrals for all programs. So if you have any consumers who would benefit from our services and programs, please reach out. And if there's any questions or clarification, I'm here to answer any questions. And yeah, that's that. Thank you, John. Much appreciated and great speaking with all of you.
And you're going to come to our upcoming vendor fair, right? So you get to meet all our service coordinators?
Yes.
Vendor fair for adult and day programs, Carly, is?
October 24th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
October 24th. You should all get an invite if you are a day or an employment provider. Come meet Mariano in person. All of you managers that are here, invite your service coordinators. And hopefully a number of you will do that. It's great seeing everyone at those. All right. Thank you, folks, very much. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. And we will look forward to talking to folks more next week. Take care, everyone.